Welcome to
Barnes & Noble.
Perfect.
There you go.
This is the Barnes & Noble podcast now.
Mm-hmm. That's what it should have been all along.
Yep. Okay. What are you listening to? What are you watching right now?
Am I listening to?
Yeah. Like what are you reading? What are you listening to podcast wise? What are you watching on YouTube? What are you watching TV wise?
I mean, just kind of a whole bunch of nonsense.
Nonsense.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's usually how I fill my day. It's just a whole bunch of nonsense.
I'm currently listening to Sherry Frank's book, The House of My Mother, which the Franks were a very popular YouTuber, very popular YouTube family called 8 Passengers. And she talks about how her mom was actually very, abusive. And then, it got really bad once they hired this therapist who was not very therapist-like.
Yeah.
She was kind of, crazy, actually. A psychopath, actually.
Yeah, that's a tough break.
Yeah. But she talks about her mom's narcissism. So, very interesting.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Story.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. It's good. She writes very, beautifully, actually.
Is she the one that actually wrote it, or did she have, a ghostwriter?
No, she actually wrote it.
Yeah, good for her.
Yeah. She's very young, too. She's only, maybe 21, 20-something, I think.
Oh, yeah, good for her.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I've been listening to, because I mostly listen to audiobooks now.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever I'm running around on, easy days, just because, shake things up a little bit.
Yeah.
But, it's Freakonomics, which is about economic forces, like correlation versus causation issues, and kind of asks interesting philosophical type questions, but answers them through, an economic lens. That's the one that's why do drug dealers live with their moms?
Oh, yeah, I remember
And stuff
you
like
telling
that.
me
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's pretty good.
Yeah.
I will say, I think one of my favorite things about it, and I wish more audiobooks would do this, was one of the people that wrote it, is the one reading the audiobook.
Oh, yeah. Sherry Frank is the one who is reading the audiobook for her book.
Oh, yeah, right?
Which I actually really like, because it's, in her perspective, obviously, and then it's, in her voice, which just adds to it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I prefer the audiobooks that are, read by the people that wrote it, which, I don't know. I don't know how common that is or not.
I don't feel like it's very common.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also haven't listened to, a lot of audiobooks. Really, the only, other audiobooks I listened to were, if I needed something for school, but also the Harry Potter series. Yeah. But whoever voiced those did really good, because they would, change their voice for each character.
Yeah. Yeah, the audiobook that I saw had, a bunch of pictures in the background, too. And there was David Radcliffe in it. Or Daniel
really?
Radcliffe in it. Yeah.
Oh. I didn't realize that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
And there was, a whole bunch of stuff, like dragons and flying cars and stuff that it showed in the background.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting. What was I going to say? What are you watching on TV?
That whole thing that I just did went over your head.
What?
I was talking about the movies.
Okay.
The Harry Potter movies.
Yeah?
Yeah. I've never listened to a Harry Potter audiobook.
Okay.
I've seen the movie.
Okay.
And I was calling that an audiobook.
Okay.
I don't know. You just didn't seem to acknowledge that. You seem to think that, oh, wow, there's a cool audiobook out there with Daniel Radcliffe in it.
I honestly wasn't listening.
Oh, really?
I was changing the subject.
Oh, okay.
You gotta be quick. You gotta be fast. Switch topics.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We don't need to drag on about one thing for too long.
Yeah, all right. Well, I guess that's true. I just don't want our fans to think that there's some incredibly detailed audiobook. I mean, it's kind of an audiobook. The movies of the Harry Potter. Like, at what point is it a movie and not an audiobook?
Well, audiobooks don't have like visual components to it.
Yeah, but if you just turn on the movie and don't watch it, is it an audiobook?
Why would you turn on a movie and not watch it?
I don't know. You're doing something else.
Actually, that's a good point. Do like
Yeah, what if you're blind?
blind? Yeah, you're just interesting.
Everything's an audiobook.
Interesting. I do feel like though, like movies have and like TV shows have like parts where you can't like hear anything, but there's stuff going on, so you could like miss something important.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah. That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Things to think about. The advantages we have. We get to watch movies.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Anyways, what are you watching on TV?
I don't know. I don't really watch TV outside of like watching it with you.
Yeah, it's true. We're watching The Sopranos right now.
Oh yeah.
We're almost done with it. But if you go to watch The Sopranos on HBO Max, which is where it is, it says that the last season has 10 episodes. But then it keeps playing episodes, and we're currently at, I think, 13 episodes right now. So we're like, is this the last episode? Is this the last episode? And then it plays another episode.
Yeah, those things happen.
Yeah, which is interesting. So we don't know when the last episode is coming. And I don't want to just look it up because it's kind of fun being like, is this the last one?
Mm-hmm.
But we heard that the ending of The Sopranos is like the greatest ending of all time.
Oh yeah.
So I'm excited.
Yeah, you should be.
Are you just not listening to me now? You're just responding?
Oh, I'm responding,
Oh.
obviously, and I'm listening. We can do two things. We were talking about how our TV is just full of nonsense, and HBO Max is a weird television app.
It's true.
Because it like glitches out, and then it's like incredibly quiet. And then you leave the TV turned up to like 75 so you can barely hear it, and then you turn on like, I don't know, anything
Netflix,
else.
and it's like, dun-dun!
And it blows up
really
your house,
loud.
and then the neighbors come over, and it's a whole thing.
Yeah, totally. Our neighbors come over. Okay.
Yeah. Well, you're watching that one show. The show that's like Bridgerton, but it isn't.
Yeah,
And the person
so,
that narrates it is super annoying.
Hey, we don't diss Gossip Girl like that. No, I don't typically watch shows like that are like, well, I watched Bridgerton. I got really into that one. But, yeah, where it's just like drama, I don't really like watch that stuff. Bridgerton was like, I think really the only other one. But, I finished SVU all the way up to like the most recent episodes. So I was like, well, everyone talks about Gossip Girl, and I never really watched it when I was in high school like most people did. So I was like, let's watch that. And Steven, like, I'm watching it, and Steven's like, they ripped this show off of Bridgerton. And I'm like, actually, I think Bridgerton ripped off this show.
Well, whatever. It's literally the exact same thing. It's all nonsense. Oh, who's in a relationship with who? Ooh, some narrator that has a pseudonym.
I never realized how bad Chuck Bass is, though.
What, is that like the rapist guy? Like the
Yeah.
Bill Cosby type?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a scumbag.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. I mean, I knew he was like a scumbag, but I didn't realize it was like that bad.
Well, everybody knows that.
Like in the first episode or second episode, he's like trying to rape
Yeah, like a...
Blake Lively's character, Serena. And I'm
Oh,
like,
well, I thought you were talking about like whenever he was going after
and
the
the
freshman.
young girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the really young girl. That's bad too. I think that was in the next episode.
Yeah, see?
Yeah, he's
Like,
pretty
dang.
scummy.
Yeah, like that guy should be in jail.
Yeah. But Steven's asking me all these questions like he's actually into it. / he wants to know like the answers like I've seen it before, and I'm like, I've never seen it.
Yeah.
So
Well, I'm mostly asking those questions because, I don't have no idea what's going on. I come in like every 15 minutes, like out of every 3 episodes.
Yeah, that's true.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
I have no idea what's happening here. They live in a garage.
Their house is dope. The Humphreys apartment or loft, whatever
it's
they call
cool.
it, is cool.
Yeah. But
I love
all
when
of
Blair's
the women
like,
look exactly
"You-"
the same. That like are out of high school.
Yeah.
Like I can't even tell them apart. I'm like, ugh.
Well, Blair looks different than Serena.
Yeah, but wait, are those the ones that are in high school?
Yeah. Everyone's in high school except for the parents.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. The parents.
Oh,
Every
the
one of their
parents?
moms looks identical.
Yeah, that's true. They're all blonde.
They're not even all blonde. They're the same person. I don't know why they hired different actors. They could have saved a lot of money and just hired one person to do all of them.
No. Can't do that.
Why not?
I think people would be able to tell other than you. I mean, you thought Zendaya was in the show.
I thought she was in the show.
Yeah, he thought that Dan Humphrey's best friend, Vanessa, I think is her name, was played by Zendaya. And I was like, no.
Well, in my own defense, I only saw
like-
her like briefly.
I think Zendaya was probably like 12 at the time. She was probably in Shake It Up at the time.
Oh, yeah. You're older than Zendaya. How does that make you feel?
By 3 months.
Yeah,
Makes me feel amazing.
that's good. You're wiser than Zendaya.
Hmm.
You could tell Zendaya back in my day.
Well, the other reason why I was like, I should watch Gossip Girl is because I started listening to Pod Crushed, which is hosted by Penn Badgley and then 2 of his friends. But yeah, he's in that show. So that's why I was like, that's a good show. I should watch that. And I should also finish the show You, because that also is a good show.
Me?
Yeah, You. I should finish your show.
Oh, okay.
Anyway. What else are you listening to, consuming these days?
Media I'm consuming?
Yeah.
A lot of nonsense Instagram reels. That's a good time.
Yeah. What about that TikTok ban
Yeah, yeah.
tomorrow?
Yeah.
When we're podcasting this or
Oh,
filming
yeah.
this tomorrow.
Yeah, and it will make an exceptionally no difference in my life.
That's because you don't have TikTok.
Oh, yeah.
We were just about to become TikTok famous.
I know. I'm disappointed. Shut down before my own time.
Let us know where other people are going. I heard Instagram Reels, obviously, YouTube Shorts, and which I guess we should be posting on. And there's this new one, the other Japanese one, right?
Chinese like
one.
Red Book or whatever.
Red Book, yeah. And then there's this Texas-based one called Clapper.
Like
Almost
the ceiling
like-
fan? Like the clap on, clap off sort of thing?
I don't know. I was
Oh.
thinking clap back.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. I'm not very good at social media.
Me either.
Yeah. I'm really good at posting once every year.
Yeah, it's true.
It's a good time.
A picture
I mean, my
of your
stories
car.
are cool, though.
Your stories?
Oh, yeah.
They are
on
now
the
that you have an
Instagram?
iPhone. You can actually see what the heck you're doing.
Nah, they were better before.
No. He had this, like, the cheapest Samsung phone you can get. No offense, Samsung. But the video quality was always, like, pixelated. You could barely tell what he was, like,
Yeah, it
showing
was great.
you.
It was vintage. It gave a old school aesthetic.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Everybody loved it.
Yeah.
It's
Everybody
like-
but Justin and I.
Well, Justin, he's fine. He'll survive.
The first time Steven posted a story with his new iPhone, Justin was like, finally, I can see what you're actually doing.
Yeah. Well, that's fine. Justin's a little dramatic.
No,
That's
he's
what
not.
we love. What do you mean, no, he's not?
I mean, yeah, he is.
He's the most
but
dramatic person I've ever met.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
We get along because
Oh,
of
yeah.
it.
No, I wouldn't change anything about Justin.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's what we need in our lives.
Yeah, it's true. Okay, so do you have your story for us today?
Okay. Well, it's not necessarily a story as much as it is a lesson.
A lesson?
Oh, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. We are going to learn for the people because last time Remember how I was like, oh yeah, people don't seem to know much about like cars and mechanic stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'm gonna change that.
I had a story about that, though, that I didn't think about until now, so I'm going to tell it now. But so I actually did almost get kidnapped because of Hermione, my dog.
I feel like that has nothing to do with cars.
Okay, so no, but it was like how would you lure me was the
Oh,
story.
okay.
So this was a few years ago. I worked for my dad at the time, and the office was like pretty close to a gas station. So I was like, I'm just gonna walk Hermione and I are gonna walk over to the gas station, get snacks and drinks, whatever. And at the time, I was teaching her a lot how to walk like off leash but stay next to me. And granted, we also weren't in like the best neighborhood. So I took her to the gas station and I left her outside, but I didn't have her on a leash. So I just like left her and I said, stay. And I went in, was gone for like maybe 5 seconds. And not 5 seconds. I was in the store for maybe like 2 minutes. And
Yeah, that's a long time to just leave a dog not tied up to anything in the city.
But it wasn't in the city.
Where was this?
We were like on, I'm not going to say where it was, but.
Okay, was it like.
We were not like anywhere near the city. We were like on land. We were on my grandpa's property.
Oh, okay. So like where I grew up.
Kinda, yeah.
Okay.
And there was like just a gas station and we just walked there.
Okay.
So so I'm like, back out of the gas station with my stuff, and Hermione's gone. And I'm like, what the fuck? So I'm like calling for her. I'm like, Hermione, no response. This guy rolls down his window and he's like, are you looking for your dog? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, oh, she took off that way, like down to this like neighborhood. And I'm like, I feel like no, she wouldn't go that way because the office was this way. My grandpa's property was like that way. So I was like, okay, thanks. And he's like, I can drive you over there. I'm like, no, I'm good. Meanwhile, my dad's calling me and I'm like, so I pick up the phone. I'm like, hello. And he's like, where are you? Hermione came back without you. And I was like, okay, good to know. I'm like, okay, she's back at the office. And meanwhile, I'm on the phone with my dad. And the guy is like, I promise you because I started walking this way on the phone with my dad. He's like, he pulls up next to me and he's like, no, I promise you she went that way. Come on, get in the car. I'll take you over there. I'm like, no, my dad says he has her this way. And he's like, I don't think so. I saw her go that way. Come on, I'll get in the car. I'll take you. I'm like, nope, I'm good. I start just like booking it back that way to my dad's property. And then my dad's like, yeah, she came back without you. And she was like barking so loud, like she was scared at the door, trying to get us to let her in. And then she wouldn't stop barking even once we let her in. Like she was like worried about me. So I definitely almost got kidnapped once by someone saying that they had my dog that way.
Well, yeah.
So it could happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So lesson of the day, don't leave your dog outside of gas stations.
Yeah, I've never done that since.
Oh, yeah, that's generally a good plan.
I actually don't leave her really anywhere.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's really a better plan.
Yeah, it is. But I just thought, I took her to a class and she did really good and she would stay.
Well, yeah, but not everybody in the world went to that class. There's so many scumbags out there.
I know.
Like, imagine if that guy from whatever show that was, Gossip Girl, walked by. He'd be all, I'm a weirdo. It's probably why she ran off.
That's what I'm saying. I was like,
Probably scared of that weird guy from Gossip Girl.
I think he tried to like get her to come in the car so that he could get me.
With the guy from Gossip Girl?
The guy from the gas station.
Oh.
You weirdo.
That's not as funny.
Anyway. Okay, teach us your lesson.
Okay.
Now that we've learned one lesson of the day.
Okay, yes. Don't leave your dog unattended, untied to anything outside of gas stations.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now, since I said, we're not going to nobody knows as much about cars and mechanics and whatever else.
Yeah.
We're going to change that. we're going to teach Amanda how an engine works.
Oh, boy.
So if she can get it, all you other guys out there and gals can get it too.
I hope you brought visuals.
I did. That's why I took this off of my car keys.
Oh, okay.
This thing.
All right.
So what's this?
So if you're currently listening on whatever podcast app you listen to, you might want to switch over to YouTube.
No, that's fine.
All right, Steven's going to teach us about engines.
Yeah. Okay. So, this is my handy dandy little teaching device that is a keychain that I took off of my car keys.
Yeah.
So, all right, this is the basics of an engine.
Mm-hmm.
So this thing on the top, that's the piston,
Yeah.
right? So that goes in the cylinders, right? The circular holes in your engine.
Yeah. I'm
So, okay.
listening.
All right. We're gonna just focus on the one cylinder for now.
Okay.
Okay. So, most people, they assume this whole thing is a piston, like this whole operation I've got going on. But they're wrong.
They're wrong.
Wrong. Clown shoes. Like the
It's
piston
not a
cup.
wrench.
No, it's certainly not a wrench. So, this thing on the top,
'Kay.
that's the piston.
Okay.
This is the connecting rod.
All right.
I think this is just called like a piston assembly thing.
Okay.
But it's not just a piston.
Is that the actual size that they are?
No.
Okay. So
I
that
mean-
was made like miniature just as like a keychain.
Yes, this
Okay.
is not an actual car part. This
Okay.
goes in a keychain. But it is shaped
Just like
kind
it.
of how it is.
Okay.
So, yeah, as this thing goes around up and down,
Yeah.
like you can see how this kind of goes in a circle, kind of
Yeah.
back and forth like that.
Yeah.
So, okay, this is a visual, physical exercise that for the people out there who can't see this.
Okay.
All right, stick your arm up with your fist. Okay, make a fist. Your hand part, fist, is the piston.
Okay.
Your forearm, that's the connecting rod.
Okay.
Your elbow is the crankshaft.
Okay.
So your crankshaft goes in a circle. So it goes in a circle. And as that goes in a circle, it moves. See how your hands moving up and down?
Yeah.
Because this can't move left or right since it's in the hole.
Okay.
Right?
So it has to go like
Yeah, so it has to go up and down
that. Okay.
like that.
Okay.
So, okay. So, knowing that, each time the hand goes up or goes down, that's called a stroke. So that's the thing. Is some of these car terms, they get a little sus.
Say the whole thing.
Oh yeah. Well, we're getting there.
Okay.
So, your car works on 4 strokes.
I mean, this doesn't look great either.
Oh, dude, everybody loves this. We're gonna have to blur it, but that'll be fine. So, each one of the strokes, there's an intake. Hold on, excuse me. It's intake, compression, combustion, exhaust. So those are the 4-stroke names.
Okay.
That's what the nerds call it.
Okay.
Anybody cool who's also seen Top Gear says suck, squeeze, bang, blow.
We're still talking about cars
Yeah, for now.
for now. Okay.
Yeah, because if you try and do other things in that order, it doesn't work out as well.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyway, suck, squeeze, bang, blow is the correct order for how a car engine works.
Okay.
Okay, all right? So you got your piston.
Yeah.
Okay? On top of the piston,
Yeah.
there's doors. They're called valves, but for this sake, we'll call them doors.
Okay.
Okay? All right, so on the suck step, the doors are called intake. This one's exhaust.
Okay.
So, in order for it to suck, the intake door open. And that's where all the gas and the air comes in.
Okay.
So as it goes down, since that door's open, it sucks in. It's like it's sucking through a straw that has
Okay.
gasoline and air in it.
Okay,
So it
yeah.
goes down.
Okay.
Then once it's at the bottom, that intake door closes.
Okay.
So exhaust one's closed, intake's one's closed. So now the piston goes back up. That's the squeeze. It takes everything, kind of puts it all together, makes it exciting.
Mm-hmm.
So then once it's doing that, right before the piston gets up to the top, the spark plug goes off. That's also living up there.
Okay.
That sets it on fire. So it explodes. It goes That's what you hear whenever you're driving around. Like your engines, like the wham, wham, that's all explosions,
Okay.
which is cool. That's why people like them. So that explodes, and that pushes the piston down. That's the bang step. So that explosion is powerful enough to push the piston down, and that's what moves your whole car around. Like as you're driving around the road, you're basically moving an explosion,
Okay.
which is cool. Everybody likes that.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
I'm just thinking of like the Fast and Furious like intro. It kind of like shows that, right? And like this
Yes.
flames going and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I'm picturing.
Yeah, but
Yeah. Like the whole time you're talking, I'm just like thinking of the
okay,
Fast and Furious.
yeah.
Like,
Just don't
intro.
think of there's one where it spins in a circle and is a triangle.
Oh,
That's a rotary engine. That's the one in his FD in the
Okay.
beginning.
Okay.
My fellow car nerds will know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Don't pay attention to that. We're not talking about rotaries.
Oh, okay.
We're not sick in this household. Although I really want a rotary. They're cool. But they're for weirdos. Weird people
Why?
like rotary. Because they're weird.
Why?
Okay. All right. So you know how there's a suck, squeeze, bang, blow?
Yeah.
That happens in a rotary. But it's a
Oh.
triangle
Okay.
that spins around. Instead of something going up and down, it's a triangle that spins.
Okay.
So rather than having, it's kind of technically a more efficient way because really in a piston engine, you're moving linear motion into rotational motion.
Okay.
But in a rotary, it's all rotational, so there's less losses in it from, an efficiency standpoint. But they're not the most reliable, and they kind of...
Oh. Okay.
Whole thing.
Right.
That's where we skipped like 20 chapters ahead
Oh, okay. Okay.
because of Fast and Furious.
Well.
So these things happen.
Yeah.
But okay, going back.
Okay.
Suck, squeeze, bang, blow.
Okay.
Piston moving.
Okay.
Think about it like the Fast and the Furious.
Okay.
Okay? So once it's at the top, right?
Mm-hmm.
The exhaust one, so it's at the bottom after the power stroke.
Okay.
Right? The explosion, the bang.
Yeah.
Okay? Then it goes back up. But as it comes back up, the exhaust door opens. And that pushes all of the exploded stuff out of the cylinder. So now it's back at the top. We're right back where we started.
Okay.
So that means it goes down again, and the intake door opens, and it breathes in, then it compresses, explodes, breathes out. So that's kind of how an engine works.
Okay.
So knowing that, if your car just won't start,
Yeah.
it means that something in that process is not happening.
Yeah, but what about the starter and the alternator?
So the starter is just an electric motor that spins everything to get it started.
Okay.
Because, the engine is not, it needs to be spinning in order for the pistons to go up and down for this process to work. So all the starter does is start the pistons going up and down.
Okay.
And then the explosions start, and then it takes off and starts running.
Oh. Okay.
So, and that is an electric motor, basically. So think about that. Like your starter is just a little electric engine to start your normal engine.
Oh, okay.
It's a motor, not an engine.
Yeah.
The electric part.
Yeah.
So, and that needs a battery. But, the engines are pretty big. It needs a lot of juice
Yeah.
to spin those engines over.
Okay.
So, once it's started, the battery's kind of drained. But what the alternator does is it fills the battery back up with juice from all the spinning of the engine.
Oh, okay.
So, if you're getting your car, you've turned the key a whole bunch,
Yeah.
nothing happens, you got a dead battery.
Okay.
So, if you get a jump, you drive off where you're going, having a good old time,
Yeah.
and you stop, and then your battery's still dead,
Yeah.
your alternator never charged the battery. And chances are your car would just run out of electricity because that spark plug, the one we were talking about,
Yeah.
that needs electricity. So that has to come from somewhere.
Okay.
So usually that's from the alternator, making enough voltage to run that system. But that's on the electrical side of stuff. So right now we're just talking about how the engine itself works.
Okay.
We'll get into the accessory stuff later if people care.
Okay.
So pistons going up and down, right?
Yeah.
And that's what, as the crankshaft spins around, that's the spinning that's connected to your wheels to make your car go. It goes through a transmission, which basically your wheels need to be spinning way slower than what your engine is at certain speeds. So like whenever you're just starting, right?
Yeah.
Your wheels spin way slower than what the engine's going real fast, and your car is just kind of putzing along.
Yeah.
Because that tachometer in your car, that's thousands of revolutions a minute.
When you're driving, do you just imagine it going like this when you're driving?
Yeah, sometimes. I don't know, especially in like the Camaro, because like
yeah.
I physically built that engine. I know exactly what all those parts, look like, and like all the bolts and everything that holds it together. So like that's kind of fun. It's like, oh, I put this together. Oh boy.
Yeah.
And then the other part of that is, oh no, I put this together. Now I have to worry about every little bolt in the car.
Yeah.
Because I know exactly what could go wrong and what could break.
Yeah.
But anyway, so if any one of those things, either the doors don't open at the right time, or the spark plug doesn't go off, or you're not getting the right amount of gas and air into whenever it sucks in, that all causes problems.
Yeah. And there's a difference too of like, because you can figure out what's not working by when you're trying to start it how it sounds, right?
Yes. So, okay. So cars usually, I mean, not usually, they always have more than one of these cylinders.
Yeah.
So, majority of the time, it's anywhere from 4 to 8.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lot of 4 cylinders. Most cars driving around are 4 or 6 cylinder. There's some 5 cylinders in like Audis that are weird.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, they're cool.
I thought it was always even numbers.
Not necessarily. It's 99% of the time even numbers.
Yeah.
Because like, I mean, I know there's some 3-cylinder like old cars. A lot of 4-cylinder old cars like the Model A's and everything. Those are all 4 cylinders.
Okay.
And 5 cylinders, they're Audis. And if you ever hear people saying like, oh, it's got a V8, that's just, so 8 is the amount of cylinders. And then V is how they're arranged.
Oh.
So like most 4 cylinders, all the cylinders are boop, 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 right in a line.
Yeah.
So they call that an inline 4. Unless you have a Subaru, which case you have a Boxer, which is a horizontally opposed 4-cylinder. So instead of the cylinders, so imagine you got 4 cups, boop, 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 like this.
Yeah.
On a cylinder, they're sideways. So there's 2 over here, and then 2 over there. Okay. So they kind of do like...
Oh,
that's
my
why
eyes are glazing over now.
Oh, yeah, okay. Anyway, there's 4 holes.
Okay.
So this is related to how you can kind of tell what's going wrong with your car. So all of the doors and opening and the pistons, they're not all going at the same time.
Right.
It's like some pistons are exploding, other pistons are sucking in. That's just kind of how the cycle works and repeats itself.
Okay.
So if you're ever trying to start your car, and you know how it goes rum, 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 rum. If it ever goes rum, 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 and it like skips, that means one of those pistons on the way up to compress it, because it takes a lot of energy to kind of squish everything together.
Yeah.
That means something's going wrong and it's leaking out of there. So either one of the doors, the valves, is broken and like just letting air in, because it's like you're pushing real hard on it to go up, but there's one of them that just goes and has no resistance. So something's usually wrong with the valve timing in that case. So, which is bad.
In that case, so in that case, you would have to replace like the engine.
Usually you can get away with like the cylinder. At that point, big things need to come apart.
Oh, dang.
So sometimes you can get away with just replacing like the cylinder heads, or if it's like a valve spring or something that broke.
Right.
But yeah, if you hear that and your car won't start, or if it does start and then it runs really, really rough.
Yeah.
Bad times.
So what about like if you just like turn the key and nothing's happening? That
means you got a dead battery.
Okay.
Or your car is catastrophically locked up.
How do you know if the alternator's wrong?
So, if your battery is always dying and you need jump starts everywhere, then your alternator's dying. I mean, go to like, really the short answer is go to an auto parts store. They'll test all that stuff for you.
Yeah, have the, like, it being red. You know how they plug in the thing and it like reads the errors to you?
Oh, I thought you meant red like the color red.
No.
I was like, no, your car doesn't turn red when your alternator's on.
Angry car.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but your battery light will be on
Yeah.
in the car.
Oh, yeah.
So as you're
true. Yeah,
driving
yeah,
along, if you see, so burp, 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 driving along, minding your own business,
Yeah.
and you see the battery light come on,
Yeah.
there's a chance, actually a pretty good chance, that your alternator's dying,
Not the battery.
not the battery. Because whenever you're
I feel
driving
like everyone's
along,
first response is just to change the battery.
yeah,
Yeah.
which isn't always the case.
What was wrong with my sister's car? Because it would like, sometimes it wouldn't even start, and then sometimes it would start and they could drive it somewhere.
It was a Nissan. That was its problem.
Okay. Well,
I mean, I never really got to look into that car,
Yeah.
but we did replace the alternator at one point because the alternator was bad.
oh yeah.
Because remember how, you got to use the battery, start the engine. That's what starts the pistons going up and
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
So that takes a lot of juice. So you got to recharge the battery. And the
Right.
alternator, once everything's spinning, it spins around and generates its own electricity that then recharges the battery. And the battery just stores that until you need to start the car again. But the battery only stores 12 volts. A lot of times whenever, you got your radio on, the heater, all your heated seats, your whatever new cars have,
Yeah.
all of that going sometimes will use more than 12 volts. So the alternator will oftentimes put out like 15 or 14 volts. So it produces more than it consumes, and then that's what goes back into the battery to recharge it.
Right.
So if that's not happening, then all of that stuff that I was just talking about, all the spark plugs, all the computers in the car, that's all being run off of the battery. And the battery eventually will go down as you're driving because the alternator is not refilling the battery.
Yeah.
So think about it this way. Whenever your car is running and the alternator is working, it's like having your phone plugged into the wall. If your alternator stops working, you unplug it. Then you're just relying on the battery, and eventually
Oh.
it'll die.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So that's whenever your battery light comes on your car,
yeah.
is once it gets below a certain
Yeah.
percentage of full on the battery.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because in my car, when I first got mine, it was like, remember I was having the issues where it wouldn't start, but the battery light never came on.
Yeah.
Is that because it was like electric?
So
'Cause I feel
in
like
that case, your alternator worked fine. It was the battery that had the problem.
Yeah.
So as you were driving around, your alternator was running
Wasn't
everything with the car
recharging
and
it.
trying to charge the battery, but the
Oh.
battery was broken.
Oh.
So the battery, like, you know how I said it basically refills it?
Yeah.
It was like it had a hole in the bottom, and all the electricity that it was trying to fill in just went
Yeah.
out, and then it wouldn't store it.
Yeah. Well, it's crazy too because it's a hybrid. So when they put in like a new, because it still has like the small battery, but then it has like the huge battery like under the car that I'm assuming is like the engine where it's like replacing that.
Kind of,
It still
yeah.
has an engine because it's a hybrid, but it has like a huge battery under the vehicle, and then it still has like a normal battery in the trunk, and that's what was like dying. And when I went to go get a new battery, they had to like keep it for 24 hours to recalibrate it to the huge battery under the car. It was really interesting.
Yeah. I don't know enough about that to, like, try and educate people about
No,
how
I'm
the
not saying
hybrid
that.
battery
I'm just
systems and
saying,
everything
like,
work.
It was just weird.
It was weird.
Yeah.
And I think that was more of it wasn't the batteries having to learn each other.
Oh.
So whenever you take that 12-volt battery, so the little one that starts the car and everything,
Yeah.
that's also what runs all of the computers and the magoos in the car.
Yeah.
The giant battery underneath, think about that as like a gas tank for the electric motor.
Right.
So completely separate system.
Yeah.
But whenever you take that off, the computer shuts off. So when then you put it back on, the computer needs to relearn everything.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I don't think it needed to sit there for 24 hours, but I don't know. I'm not a hybrid car expert.
Yeah. I don't know.
So,
So do like completely electric cars also have a battery like that?
No, because they run off of that giant battery that's like the gas tank.
Yeah. So what if you're say you're like you completely charged your battery, like it's fine, but your car doesn't start? Do you have to replace like that huge battery? Like what if that battery goes bad?
In what, an electric car?
Yeah.
Okay, we're not talking about electric cars.
I know, but
No, okay, no. Everything that I said does not apply to an electric car at all.
oh.
But, yeah, because an electric car, there's not really such thing as like starting. Like an electric car, like you know how in like your gasoline car you start it and it goes vroom, and the pistons are going up and down, it's making a whole bunch of noise, but you're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen in an electric car. You just turn it on, and then whenever the motor starts spinning, you start driving.
Yeah, I guess you're right cuz if I don't hold down if I'm not pushing on the gas and holding down on the button in my car, it just turns it on. It doesn't start it.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to make like it in my mind, like in an electric car, it would just be like on.
Yes.
It wouldn't be started.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't really start an electric car.
Interesting.
You just
okay.
turn it on, and then once the motor starts to spin, like you just start driving.
Oh, okay.
The motor is never spinning while you're staying in one place in an electric car.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, in a gas car, you have to do that because the engine needs to be moving at a certain speed in order for all these,
Things
the
to
spinning
go.
to happen.
Yeah.
Like that's why you have a starter. It spins everything.
Mm-hmm.
So that way it has to be going a minimum speed.
Mm.
So that's why you have a transmission. Is the engine can only spin so slowly. And obviously, whenever you're stopped, your wheels aren't moving.
Yeah.
So if there wasn't a transmission or a torque converter or a clutch,
Mm-hmm.
then your wheels are spinning and the engine was directly hooked to that, it just wouldn't run. So the engine needs to spin, it's spinning, and then it uses the transmission to kind of get you going.
Mm-hmm.
Because the engines in a normal car, they can only spin like 6,000 RPM. So to go down the highway, sometimes you need to have your wheels spinning faster than that. No, hold on, that's not right. So, well, it's different because the transmission has gearing in it.
Yeah.
And then the rear differentials also have gearing in it too.
Mm-hmm.
So, engine needs to be spinning within like a certain RPM to be efficient.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's why like in the Corvette, whenever you get on the highway, you put it in sixth gear, it barely spins, but that's why it gets good gas mileage. If you're driving around like in the Camaro, before it had the fifth gear,
Yeah.
the engine was spinning really fast everywhere, and we weren't going anywhere on the highway, and it was annoying.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, how fast the engine spins, the faster it spins, generally the more horsepower it makes. So that's why whenever you floor it, the engine goes and then you take off.
Okay.
So that makes more horsepower, and then you also get more gearing advantage. Like whenever it downshifts, like the transmission.
Yeah.
That's like whenever you're on your bike, right? If you click down a couple gears, you can do wheelies and be cool.
Yeah.
But you can't go very fast.
You're right.
So as you change up gears, that's why your car has gears. Mm-hmm. Is because your engine can only spin within certain ranges.
Interesting.
So.
2-minute warning.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we kind of got lost in the sauce a little bit.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's okay. It'll maybe make sense to somebody out there. But,
I mean, no, it's like making sense.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, I feel like we got off into the weeds about like the transmission stuff.
Oh.
So yeah. The main focus was focusing on the engine.
Yeah.
How the cylinders work.
Mm-hmm.
And what kind of engines are in cars. So, 4-cylinder, they're in a row. Unless you have a Subaru. Then they're off to the side.
Yeah.
And then if you have a 6-cylinder, you can either have a straight 6, which is 6 in a row.
Mm-hmm.
That's what like BMWs and Mercedes and stuff, a lot of them have.
Okay.
Or you could have V6s. That's what a lot of like normal sedans have.
That's what my Volkswagen was.
Yes. Sidebar here. Her Volkswagen was a VR6, which is kind of both, but that's too complicated for Amanda right now. But they called it a V6 on that car. Because yeah, actually VR6s are kind of cool because they're both, which is crazy.
Yeah.
So, again, too advanced.
Yeah.
So, V6, straight 6. And back in the old days, they used to have straight 8s.
Yeah.
Those were cool, but that's like 30s, 40s.
Yeah.
Most of the time now, it's V8s. It's like this. Those are the coolest.
All right. What's
Yeah.
the Camaro?
Camaro's V8.
Nice.
So's the Corvette.
So you're the coolest.
Exactly.
What's the Kia?
Straight 4.
Lame sauce.
Yeah. Well, it's even worse. Justin's car, the Corolla,
Yeah.
that's a 3-cylinder.
Really?
Yeah, so it's just 3 in a row.
Isn't it fast though?
Yeah, it has a turbocharger.
Oh.
So turbochargers, you know how whenever it sucks in,
Yeah.
a turbocharger is something that sits on the outside of the engine that blows air into it so it doesn't have to suck as hard.
Interesting.
Yeah, so think about that. If you have a turbo, turbos are actually really cool how they work, but I feel like a little more complicated to get into.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll talk about that
another
on the next time, is how to make your car faster and what you can do.
No, next time we're going to talk about. Let me look.
Next time I talk, we'll tell you how to make your cars faster.
There you go, yeah.
Yeah. Basically, the more air you can put into your car, the faster it goes. Whether that's by making more cylinders, the cylinders bigger, or you just ram the air into it. You just take it and you just shove it in there. That's what a turbo does, is it just shoves it in there. Same with a supercharger, just shoves it in there. But nitrous, like what's in the Fast and Furious, and don't call it NOS.
Don't call it NOS?
No, yeah, you know how in the Fast and Furious, oh, it's NOS!
Yeah.
No, that's clown shoes.
Okay, so we can either do pop culture, the John Benet Ramsey case, or we can talk about things to discuss before you get married.
Oh, you want me to pick?
Yeah.
Oh. I mean, pop culture's fine.
Pop culture?
Yeah, we could talk about Fast and Furious and NOS and how it makes your car faster.
No, the topic is the John Benet Ramsey case.
What? It said pop culture, then or.
No. Pop culture, John Benet Ramsey case, or what to talk about when you're getting married.
Oh, I see. There were
before you
2
get-
options.
yeah.
There wasn't like 4.
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll talk about John Benet Ramsey.
Okay. I did just watch like her documentary, and
Isn't she dead?
a documentary on her.
Oh.
Okay. And I also listened to Ashley Flowers' 3-hour podcast episode on her.
Mm.
Yeah.
Did they name the plants after her?
Ashley Flowers?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
That's just her last name.
Hmm.
Anyway. Okay, so what's the what's it called?
What?
Suck, bang, what?
Oh, suck, squeeze, bang, blow.
Suck, squeeze, bang, blow.
Mm-hmm.
That's the lesson of the day.
Yeah. That's how your car works.
Yep.
It needs to suck, it needs to squeeze, it needs to bang, and then it needs to blow. If it's not doing any of that, something is wrong.
Just like your man.
Yeah, I guess.
Anyway.
So, okay. Are we done?
Yep.
Am I cut off?
Yep.
No more talking about nitrous?
Nope.
Oh, but next time it's my turn to talk, we'll talk about nitrous and superchargers
About
and turbos.
baby bottles.
Yeah, I guess.
That's what nitro is.
No, nitro's totally different.
Oh, okay.
Nitro and nitrous, not the same thing.
Oh, okay. Anyway. Well, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next Friday. Goodbye.
Toodles.